of the night. Hello and welcome. Shuhei Nakamura is piloting an Oath of Druids deck. Tom Martell is piloting a Jeskai Mentor deck. One of these guys is going to get knocked out of this portion of the qualifying tournament. One of them is going to have a date with Kai Bude, where they will try to earn a spot in a win-and-in for the Vintage Super League. Looks like pretty good hands. Tom's hand is just great, isn't it?
Yeah, Tom's got what he wants. He's got the turn 1 Ancestral. He's got probably a turn 2 Mentor. We see Shuhei Mulligan. Shuhei's hand wasn't bad, but he knows what Tom's on, and some of the cards were not dedicated to that matchup.
Yeah, he doesn't really want the Ancient Grudge main. He did not have an Oath of Druids. He did have a Force of Will. He did have a mix of land and spells, but it's interesting that he mulliganed that hand. I thought it was... I feel like I might have kept it, but that may be why I never actually win with Oath decks.
I mean, I look at Pyrite Spellbomb and Ancient Grudge and think, two cards that aren't so great against Mentor.
Oh, he had the Spellbomb too?
Yeah, but okay, on the other hand, this new hand has a Spellbomb and 6 cards, so I'm sure he would like to have the Ancient Grudge on top of this. I understand not wanting to go to 5 from there.
All right, Shuhei did win the roll, so he's up first. He's going to need a second land to really turn that hand on. Like, if he goes Forbidden Orchard off the top, he's in tremendous shape. Because he does have a Force of Will. He could force through an Oath of Druids. But meanwhile, Tom, he's got an Ancestral. He's got a Mox. He's looking at a turn 2 Mentor. He's just got to decide how he wants to sequence this.
He gets to resolve the Ancestral, but he doesn't know that. And if he waits, he doesn't, possibly. It's always a tough call. You want to get those 3 cards as soon as possible, but you also want to wait as long as you can to make sure they resolve.
Is this maybe the time where you go land, wait during your upkeep before you draw a card? Let me go for my Ancestral?
I think that would be a good move here. I think I would probably do that, but I think you could also hold on to the Ancestral with this hand. And to sit back and say, I have a Force, I'm going to, get a Mentor out, fight over that, or resolve Ancestral while Mentor's in play.
All right, he's going to go for main phase Ancestral.
But that's not bad either. He's got a Mox. He's not going to discard cards because of it.
But he might have to discard 1 card. If he draws 3 uncastable things, he has to discard 1.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But I mean, having the Pearl means his worst case scenario is discard 1 card. And I think he's prepared to defend this with Force of Will as well. So he figures he's very unlikely to have to discard. Shuhei debating. Do you force to do? Yeah, he's going to pitch his DAC to try to stop this Ancestral, and now here we go. Tom is probably going to force back.
I'd expect that.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you force back.
Yeah, especially with Shuhei 3 cards in hand. If he knows Shuhei doesn't have a misstep, right? Because he would have used it. He would have used the Flusterstorm.
His fear is that Shuhei has land Oath of Druids.
Sure, absolutely.
So, Tom, I mean, it is a little bit of a gamble here for Tom. He's leaving himself without the ability to stop an Oath of Druids.
Though, interestingly, I doubt this was what he's going for, but he drew the Swords to Plowshares, which is not the worst against an Oath if Shuhei only has a few cards in hand. Not as good as a Force of Will, though.
Well, look, Shuhei did draw the mana he needs to go for a turn 2 Oath. Game on. Now what happens? Tom does not get to run away with a Monastery Mentor win. That is the short version of what happens.
Yeah, it would be way too risky for Tom to play a Mentor and just hope he draws something crazy to get there. I think he's going to try to draw some cards off that dig. I think that's his next game plan.
Yeah, he can also contemplate a strip because he'll see that Shuhei's not going to play a land here. He can leave Shuhei with just Mox Ruby for mana.
It's a big sign.
It's funny, yeah, okay. Well, preordained first, get some information. That makes sense.
Yep, I mean the Gush gives him even more lines, right? Because now playing that Volcanic is more useful.
Oh yeah, I think I strip.
Yeah, I like that. Shuhei missed the land drop.
Right, it gets me closer to the dig through timeline. I can dig and Gush later. Tom does not have all day though. Tom needs to stitch a plan together before Shuhei comes up with Forbidden Orchard.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing about the strip is it cuts him off of Shuei's got 4 preordains, right? It cuts Shuei off from drawing spells that draw the Forbidden Orchard, which is the last thing Tom wants to see Shuei get.
He's looking at 2 Moxes apparently. So I guess he's wondering if he can go wide enough with a Mentor.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking, if I play the Mentor and get 2 tokens now, like how big can I make it?
I mean, look, he's got a Plow too for the first creature that Shuhei oaths up.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he kept the Sapphire. Okay, strip Tropical. That's still the plan. It makes sense.
It's also, he's got 5 cards in the graveyard. Sapphire gets him to... well, he's still able to dig either way next turn, but...
Oh my god, Forbidden Orchard!
Oh.
Straight off the top!
It's not what Tom wants to see.
No, sir! Wow!
Yeah.
Huh.
All right, I think... yeah. Plays the Spell Bomb. Doesn't... Orchard resolves no matter what. It doesn't have to do anything special about that.
Yeah, it doesn't resolve. It just comes.
Yeah, just special action.
All right, so Forbidden Orchard, if you haven't seen this combo, then you probably haven't been watching a lot of Vintage. But when you tap it, the drawback is you have to give your opponent a 1/1 Spirit. Wow, yeah, Tom has to stitch a line together. Like, he's just going to run his Mentor out because he knows Shuhei gets to Oath. So this Mentor's no longer turning on the Oath. The Orchard was going to turn on the Oath. Tom has to go wide.
It's a shame. He'd be in a lot better shape right now if he hadn't stripped land last turn. I still think it was a good play.
I think it was totally the right play.
Yeah, he didn't know that the top card was Forbidden Orchard. But if he had, he would have another mana up to play Swords if he had to. He'd be able to play Dig right now.
Wow. So if Shuhei oaths into Salvagers plus Black Lotus, he just wins on the spot.
Yep, that would be a win. I don't think there's anything Tom has.
Like, if Tom had untapped white mana, he could break it up with the Swords to Plowshares. But Tom had to tap his Pearl just to get the Mentor down. I think it was completely correct.
He could have played the Sapphire first. He would be down a Monk.
Trigger.
We'll see.
Well, no, he can't. He needs white mana for the Mentor in all scenarios.
Oh, he didn't have. Yeah, he didn't have the white mana.
He didn't have a Tundra. Like, he drew polluted.
So he has to tap.
Right. He only had access to 1 white mana this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... So, but the thing is, if Shuhei oaths into the Salvagers and he doesn't hit the Black Lotus on his way through his deck, he doesn't win on the spot. He'll need to oath again, which he may not get to. Meanwhile, if Shuhei oaths into Grizzlebrand, then he has the ability to draw a bunch of cards. But
yeah, I mean, I like Shuei's chances if he draws into Grizzlebrand, but it's not guaranteed.
Right.
The Mentors can run over it, but...
all right. What's he going to find?
Right.
Finds Grizzlebrand.
Grizzlebrand. Yeah, that's up to 14 cards for Shuhei.
But Tom's going to hit him really hard. Like, Tom, the Plow is even a prowess trigger. Did Shuhei hit the Lotus or no? I don't think I see it in this yard. No.
So it looks like he didn't hit Time Walk either, which is pretty important.
Okay, so he draws 7. Finds not a ton. I mean, I guess he's got a force and a misstep. He's got a misstep for the Plow now.
This is a interesting position from Shuhei because if he draws 7 and gets a Time Walk, he wins. There's nothing Tom can do about it.
Sure.
But if he draws 7 and has to pass, I don't think any amount of cards from Shuhei can stop Tom from dealing enough damage to kill him.
Yeah, I don't think I draw 7 down to 4 life. I think
being 11 is tricky.
If you get desperate in the middle of a permission fight, you can draw 7 later.
Yeah, it looks like Shuei's planning on passing.
Oh, he can bounce the Mentor. That's not bad.
Yeah, now Tom has the Swords, which is great here, but Shuhei has the answer to that.
Wow, Shuhei's deck was absurd. He mulliganed to 6, one of which was a spell bomb. He kept basically Tom stripped him down to 1 mana, but he kept 1 land. His 6 cards only had 1 mana. So he top decks the Mox, which allows him to play turn 2 Oath of Druids. Tom strips him and he top decks the Forbidden Orchard.
Those are the cards he wanted to get.
Crazy.
No doubt about that. Yeah, I would have really, from the opening hands, I would have really expected Tom to win this one. But that's, like we were saying earlier, this is the real strength of Oath is it just needs that one card. It doesn't need to assemble 100 different things. It just needs to stick the Oath. You can't stop the Orchard. It's just going to happen if you draw it.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing, Tom, I honestly don't know what the right play is, but Tom could have allowed Shuhei to force Tom's Ancestral Recall on turn 1 and held back the force against a potential Oath of Druids. That's maybe the one thing Tom could have done differently. I honestly don't know what's correct there.
Yeah, if Shuhei doesn't have the Oath, then that's crazy, right? But
right. Why didn't you defend your Ancestral? You'd let your opponent sit there and draw his way out of it.
But he did have it.
All right. I don't know what this Dig Through Time can find that's good enough. I mean, I guess a misstep for the misstep and Force of Will. No, that doesn't, he doesn't have a blue card.
Yeah,
and Shuhei's just going to force the dig.
Yeah, I guess if the dig had gotten a misstep and another Swords to Plowshares, that actually gets him out of it.
But yeah, Shuhei's just going to force the dig rather than force whatever Tom finds.
And he still got the misstep for the Swords.
Tom's hoping this cleared a path for Swords to Plowshares, but he's probably not optimistic. Something about them drawing 7 cards. Grizzlebrand's usually enough. Yeah, Tom doesn't have any choice. Just point the plow at Grizzlebrand, see if you can clear a path for an attack for, 11? Well, an attack for 9 plus killing Jace. No, 11's probably, yeah.
I guess you could kill the Jace with the Spirit tokens.
Yeah.
And attack him with the, but doesn't. It's not going to happen anyway. Shuei's still at 8, so that the worst case scenario, you can draw another 7.
Rietzel deadpans in our Skype chat. Tom's running pretty good so far.
Yeah, I mean, just on comparing restricted cards, Tom had Ancestral, a couple Moxes, crazy. Looked really good, but that Oath is a powerhouse. All right, so we know that Tom has a Containment Priest, a bunch of Grafdigger's Cages, a Wear and Tear. Trying to get a handle on what Shuhei's doing. Taking out those Dax. Can't really make out too well. They're doing here. Looks like Tom's not bringing in the Rest in Peace. That's an option against the Salvager's Oath list.
Sure,
but he's got plenty of other stuff, which he probably prefers.
Yeah, I mean, Shuhei didn't exactly need the combo to kill him that time.
Yeah, that is true.
I see chat asking if Shuhei is going to get a chance to do commentary. I have been attempting to convince Shuhei that his English is good enough to do commentary, but he does not feel comfortable with his English. Certainly a smart guy, knows a lot about Magic. I don't know. It's one of those where I offered him the opportunity. We'd love to hear from you if you feel comfortable, but I certainly don't want to put him in a situation he doesn't feel comfortable in either.
Yeah, it would be really great to, it's been great to hear the insight from all the players who have played. It would be really fantastic to hear his approach, how he picked the deck for this and for the Asian Vintage Champs. So it's, from Tom's perspective, he's got plenty of cards that are good. The Grafdigger's Cage, Containment Priest, Wear Tear, even Mindbreak Trap. These are all good cards. But you don't have 10 cards to board out against Oath. If you board out 10
Right.
cards against Oath,
No, you're totally right.
Yeah, your deck's gonna fall apart. So that's the real challenge. All right, so Tom has already mulliganed twice.
Oh God. Yeah, that.
Once.
Oh, once. I think there's a card off to the left.
Oh.
Oh, it's a Jace?
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, that hand's all of a sudden quite reasonable.
Changes that hand quite a bit. Now, Shuhei has the Red Blast, which is pretty good there. But Tom doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know that Shuhei could keep his hand, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
fair,
a bunch of land and a Pyroblast and an Auriok Salvagers, right?
Yeah.
Now it's Forbidden Orchard with turn 1 Oath of Druids. Slightly better.
Yeah, Shuhei's got to
Force of Will to defend it. Force of Will, blue card, Forbidden Orchard, Mox, Oath of Druids. It's like the perfect 5.
This is real rough, yeah. If Tom keeps this hand, he opens with Jace, Jace gets countered.
Tom has to keep this hand.
If he mulligans to 5, he's playing with 5 cards against turn 1 or turn Oath Force backup. So
you absolutely keep this hand if you're Tom Martell. You just go Black Lotus, Mox Pearl, Jace the Mind Sculptor across your fingers.
Yeah, you're not going to get a better 5.
You're not going to have a 5-card hand that beats that. Like, Shuhei's on a mulligan. His odds of having Force of Will blue card are less than 50-50. And Tom is keeping it. He's looking at a Force of Will as his scry card, trying to figure out whether he wants Force of Will on top of his deck or not.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, if he had a mana and could preordain into the Force, that would be kind of exciting, but he doesn't. Maybe you keep it there anyway and plan to brainstorm into it and have it against Oath.
He could wait a turn on the Jace, but I don't suspect he would do that.
All right. Mox Pearl, Black Lotus, 3 blue, and a white.
It's a little painful to watch.
It's my Tom Martell impression. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did he keep the Force of Will on top? Do we know?
It doesn't matter. It's still on top.
Well, no. He bottomed it, so he could draw a Grafdigger's Cage off the top.
Oh, okay, sure.
That would be.
Or a Polluted Delta.
Preordain? He's got the chance. It's there.
Time Dealer?
Oh, jeez.
This basically has to be a cage. 3 looks at it. Nope. Bottom, Scalding Turn.
Bottom, Scalding Turn. That's not going to do it.
Yikes.
Super. Even if Nakamura oaths up a Salvagers here with no Black Lotus, in which case he would just have to pass the turn. Even if Trom draws a Grafdigger's Cage, which is what happened, Grafdigger's Cage doesn't stop that. He can still just oath, get rid of the Grizzlebrand, win with Auriok Salvagers.
Shuhei did in fact oath into the Salvagers. He did not hit a Black Lotus, so he doesn't win on the spot. But next turn he gets to oath the Grizzlebrand into play, and if he comes up with a Black Lotus, he can make infinite mana.
You can draw 14 cards and cast every single one of them.
Oh, by the way, he's going to have Jace the Mind Sculptor. Just as a backup plan. God, when this Oath deck wins, it looks so ridiculous. And then I think back 10 minutes ago where it was on like a Ruby and an Oath and about to die.
I think that's a common narrative with Oath. I think the games where it wins, just nothing could have beaten it. But sometimes you draw a handful of Grizzlebrands. Tom gets to look at a lot of cards right now, but
yeah, he can't dig and preordain, right? I don't think his mana lets him do that. No, it does not.
He could get Wear Tear. He's still facing out a Jace, but he'd be in a lot better shape than he would be.
Cheeky little attack. Would you like to kill one of my 1/1s? Oh, Shuhei's going to take him up on it. How does he get to activate the Oath? Like, aren't you just supposed to let Jace take one for the team there?
I'm forgetting right now. I feel bad. I'm forgetting whether you actually get a window.
No, you can't.
I
You
don't think you
cannot
do.
activate the orchard during your own upkeep. Oath checks both when it goes on the stack and when it resolves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Got
that blocks. I don't like that block from Shuhei.
Yeah, gotta agree with you on that one. Not that things look too bad for him.
No, right. He's still got a Jace and an Oath with a Forbidden Orchard, but I
Is there
just one loyalty on Jace does not seem worth giving up an Oath activation to me.
there is a very small chance, looking at his list right now, I don't think he has. I could be missing something, but some of those players will run a Gaia's Blessing to make sure you can't oath yourself to death.
Right.
I don't see anything like that in Shuei's deck. So there's that corner case. If the bottom part of his deck is a Grizzlebrand and he oaths, he loses. There's a chance he's making sure that doesn't happen. It's not very likely, but it's not very likely that he loses even without a Grizzlebrand. So I think there's an argument.
Stig seems Flusterstorm, 2 Grafdigger's Cages, Mental Misstep, Monastery Mentor, Mox Ruby, Time Walk. So he might be thinking about Ruby Cage
Yeah,
if he wants to play the Cage immediately, but he doesn't have to play it immediately because Shuhei can't Oath next turn. So
that's
he
true.
can actually take Cage plus a business spell. Interesting.
I mean, a Cage plus a Mentor is one possible way out of this game, especially if you drew like a Lotus off the top or some way to cast multiple spells.
Yeah, that's what he's going to
Yeah.
keep, Cage Mentor.
Now, Cage doesn't stop that Salvagers combo, unfortunately, but it will prevent him from getting a 7/7 flying lifelink.
I mean, Shuhei's also 2 cards away from the Salvagers combo. Like, he doesn't have the Black Lotus. He also doesn't have anything to do with infinite mana right now.
That's true.
I mean, he can just make infinite mana. I mean, he can engineered explosives all he wants, but he doesn't have any. Doesn't have a spell bomb either. Currently. All right. He brainstorms with Jace. He reshuffles with a fetch land.
Getting back explosives,
Sure.
which is nice. He can use it to generate some value, kill some permanents. He could use it just to put it back with Jace. It's drawing a card.
Funny. It's true.
Yeah, it's Tom.
Would you like to block my other spirit token too?
It forces him into that play, right? He has to.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time Shuhei's going to take it. He wants to Oath.
So I feel like Tom's got to play a Mentor here, and then the Cage. I think that's his chance. Well, he knows Shuhei has the explosives, which can kill the Cage, but it does buy him a turn.
Yeah, the question is, does he want to? I mean, if he could try to go Mentor and then pick a fight over Grafdigger's Cage after Mentor, getting tokens along the way. But I think here his plan is to try to clear a path for the Cage first. Like if he can resolve a Preordain, that just makes it more likely that he gets to resolve the Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah, I mean, he resolves the Cage. Shuhei can just kill it on his turn, and he knows that. He needs to put a clock on him. But
so you like Mentor first there?
I do, but I had the benefit of knowing Shuhei had a misstep there. Like I knew how that was going to go down, right? It's easy for me to say. And that's still an edge case. I might be missing a better line. There might be a card he has left in his deck that, again, the Wear Tear would be pretty strong here.
Feels like Shuhei's line is explosives for 1, blow up the Soul Ring in the Graph Digger's Cage, turn your Oath back on.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, he's got a second Orchard, so he can stop all of Tom's spirit attacking shenanigans anytime he wants now. So, there's no chance he boarded out Grizzlebrand, is there?
There's some chance. It's kind of crazy. Like, you're going to play an Oath of Druid's deck with 1 creature? Like, he only gets to activate Oath once?
Yeah, I'm doubting that's the case, but I'm trying to think that would...
It would explain his behavior so far. I don't know how he wins from here. Like, he's just got to Jace and reshuffle until he finds both a Lotus and a Spellbomb? That would be kind of crazy.
Time Walk's not the worst card to have. Yeah, I guess I was arguing for the Graph Digger's Cage play, but he can also explosives the Mentor, right? He's got enough mana to do that.
Wow, so Shuhei just didn't play his explosives? He didn't try to blow up Graph Digger's Cage?
Yeah, I think he really is not trying to activate Oath. That's not his game plan here.
Wow.
Though you could blow up the cage and then get back the explosives and get back the Soul Ring, but that does take time.
Right, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm actually starting to buy your line of he sideboarded out Grizzlebrand.
I mean, it could also be if he's super confident that he wins this game with or without Grizzlebrand. Why risk losing? It's only a 1 in 40 chance, which is pretty small, but if he thinks he has a lower than 1 in 40 chance of losing without Grizzlebrand, why not?
He doesn't want the 2.5% chance of a loss. He'd rather sit on Jace. I
don't know.
I don't know if I agree with the math.
Maybe he's just really, really confident about that Jace.
He's 97.5%, but more than 97.5% to win from here.
Jace is pretty good.
Jace is very good.
He's a fine planeswalker.
Look, I'm not saying Tom's in great shape. I think his chance is over 10% from here. Certainly 5 to 10%. Huh. Interesting line.
Trying to work everything out in my head. Always difficult. Yeah. So, I mean, Tom has to put pressure on attack, but he knows about that cage or that explosives. So he's got to do it all in 1 turn. But he has the Time Walk.
Yeah.
Which is the card you need if you want to do everything in 1 turn.
All true. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so Graph Digger's Cage doesn't stop you from activating Oath. You can activate it all you want.
Oh, hilarious. In fact, if Grizzlebrand is the bottom card, he just wins this way. Because he can't put it into play. He has to draw it. Like, by activating Oath of Druids, Shuhei was guaranteed to draw exactly Grizzlebrand.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, did he flip his Black Lotus? Like, if he flipped Black Lotus and Spellbomb into his graveyard, then he just wins.
I think that's a Black Lotus there.
I don't think so. Is there a Spellbomb? That's a Mock Sapphire. Pearl, Emerald.
Does he have
Black Lotus.
Oh, there's the Spellbomb.
There's the Spellbomb. He still doesn't have the Black Lotus. There's 15 cards left in Shuhei's library. Oh, so hilarious. He can actually... How does this work? He can put the Grizzlebrand back, but then he'll not Oath the rest of the cards?
Yeah, it's kind of up to him.
Shuffle is what he needs to do. He did put the Grizzlebrand back.
If he had played the Orchard, he'd be 1 black mana away from casting Grizzlebrand.
Funny. So he can now, I mean, he can win the game with Pyrite Spellbomb. It's just, without infinite mana, it takes a couple of turns.
Hey, he can get there.
It's going to take, like 5 turns or something?
Yeah, it also means Yeah, I was going to say it also means the spirits aren't a threat to him, but he's at 17. They're not a threat to him anyway. Tom's hand is not bad, but I still like
close.
here. It doesn't matter because he drew the spell bomb, and a neat little interaction is. Let me look. Oh no, never mind. Sure, doesn't have it. Some players of the Barman combo run a Sensei's Dividing Top, which actually works as a spell bomb if you also have it engineered explosives to tap a draw and then kill it with your own explosives, and then bring them both back. It takes 3 times as long, but it does work.
Sure. Meanwhile, Tom whittling away at Jace. Shuhei is going to block. Jace survives.
Shuhei don't care. He only needs 1 counter. It'll be interesting to see if he blocks next time.
Well,
if there is a next time. Now there's only 1 token.
Well, there probably will be a next time, right? If he oaths, he'll only see like 2 fresh cards. He won't see any fresh cards because he put the Grizzlebrand back. He needs a reshuffle effect if he wants to see any fresh cards.
Yeah.
Basically, he's got the spell bomb now. He has to find Black Lotus, or this is going to take 5 turns. Meanwhile, may as well bring back some more Moxen. Who needs to start dealing 2 at a time when you can get value by regrowing your Mox Pearl and your Mox Emerald? Oh, look at that. He drew a Grizzlebrand.
Oh, my God.
He milled the Forbidden Orchard, though, so he can't cast it. Can he find the Black Lotus?
One possible line here is...
No, not yet.
He could explosives for 0, start attacking with Ordex Salvagers. A little faster than the Spellbomb. Oh, that's true. Tom would get to Oath.
I mean, there's still a cage in play, hilariously. All this is happening with a cage in play, but...
Yeah. So Tom would Oath and then draw a Mentor or Pyromancer, which isn't that bad, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy game. All right, Preordain. Now he can put the Grizzlebrand on the bottom of his deck. So he just Jaced the Grizzlebrand to the top. Now he can Preordain to scry it to the bottom. So he will hit Black Lotus next turn.
Yeah.
And presumably he went Grizzlebrand with a card under it just to avoid Catastrophe. I guess Tom could try to kill him with an Ancestral Recall is a line Shuhei has to guard against. But he's on Misstep, Pyroblast. So that is... not likely to work out.
That would be fun to see, though.
The fight
an Oath player getting decked by the Ancestral. But I think Shuei's pretty well. Like you said, he's pretty well covered for that eventuality.
Tom has to decide if he wants to fight over this Ancestral. Shuhei's library is like a dozen cards at this point. I think it's 13. He knows the bottom 2. He would like to draw 3 of the other 11.
That's quite a bit of information about what he could possibly draw here.
Yeah, Tom's done. Yeah, he has seen enough.
And Shuhei was guaranteed to have it next turn.
Right, exactly. Tom did not have any sort of time log, Monastery Mentor lines available to him. So, Tom Martell will be joining you in the Single Elim Last Chance qualifier next week. Shuhei Nakamura will be advancing on within this bracket, where he, I believe, if memory serves, is going to be paired against Kai. So we get to see Kai Buddha against Shuhei Nakamura. There's some Pro Tour top 8s in that.
That will be fun to watch.
Pair of Hall of Famers in an elimination match. The winner of that will earn a win-in. So Caleb versus Bob is for a seat in a win-in. Shuhei versus Kai will be up after that. That is for a seat in a win-in. Brassman, this has been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit more of an adventure getting to this point than we expected. But
it happens. A vintage adventure is the best kind of adventure.
Yeah, Shuhei saying in our chat. GG's, how lucky draw. Was quite the lucky draw for Shuhei, but hey, you put those cards in your deck so you can draw them when you need them, right?
Tom didn't get bad draws. His game hand one was great. His game hand two would have been good against anything except for Shuhei's hand. Yeah, those were some powerful vintage draws from both players.
Agreed. All right. Well, stay tuned, guys. We are going to take a quick break, and we are going to get set up for our next match, which is going to be a couple new casters and Bob Maher versus Caleb Durward. So don't go anywhere.